Imagine this. It's 1988. Seoul is buzzing with Olympic fever, but beneath the glitz and global spectacle, a high-octane underground chase is taking place. A group of daredevil drivers is pulled into a dangerous mission filled with illegal money, high-speed pursuits, and a web of corruption that could cost them everything. But what if I told you that Seoul Vibe is more than just a thrilling action movie? Hidden beneath its retro aesthetic and electrifying car chases are deeper meanings, historical references, and details you might have missed. By the end of this video, you'll never see Seoul Vibe the same way again. Welcome to Story Break, where we dive deep into the stories you love. Buckle up because today, we're taking a wild ride through Seoul Vibe. Let's rewind the clock to the summer of 1988. The world is watching Seoul as it prepares to host the Olympics. But behind the scenes, the streets are alive with underground racing and an explosive corruption scandal waiting to unfold. Our story follows Dong-wook, a talented street racer, and his crew, known as the Sanggi Supreme Team. Dong-wook, played by Yoo Ah-in, is a rebellious yet highly skilled street racer. He and his crew, Woo-sam, Joon-gi, Bok-nam, and his sister Yoon-hee, are well known in the underground racing scene. Their dream is to leave Seoul behind and move to America, where they believe their skills can lead to a better future. Their peaceful and adrenaline-fueled street racing life is upended when they are arrested after a particularly reckless stunt. Just as they think their future is over, they are approached by Prosecutor An, who presents them with an ultimatum: work for him to infiltrate a massive money laundering operation or face years in prison. With no choice but to accept, the crew is introduced to the dangerous world of Chairman Kang, a ruthless businessman who controls much of Seoul's illegal economy. His second-in-command, the enigmatic and lethal Madam Kim, is suspicious of newcomers, making the crew's infiltration all the more dangerous. Their first task is deceptively simple: transporting briefcases full of dirty money to high-profile clients. However, they soon realize that these deliveries are tests, designed to see if they have what it takes to be trusted by Kang's organization. They navigate these early trials with their expert driving and street smarts, but the stakes continue to rise. The crew soon learns that Kang's operations stretch far beyond money laundering. He is involved in government bribery, illegal arms deals, and even controlling key political figures. Woo-sam, the team's tech genius, begins secretly gathering evidence, realizing that their mission is much bigger than they initially thought. Meanwhile, Dong-wook is challenged by one of Kang's top enforcers to a high-stakes street race. The outcome will determine whether the crew remains in Kang's good graces or disappears permanently. The race is filled with edge-of-the-seat moments, close calls, and breathtaking maneuvers. Dong-wook barely wins, earning Kang's respect, but also drawing the ire of rivals within the syndicate. As the crew becomes more entangled in Kang's empire, tensions rise. Yoon-hee questions their loyalty to Prosecutor An, suspecting that he has his own hidden agenda. Joon-gi, the muscle of the team, starts to struggle with the morality of their actions, while Woo-sam becomes obsessed with gathering as much evidence as possible, putting the whole team at risk. Everything changes when they are ordered to transport an unknown package to a secluded estate. Upon arrival, they witness a brutal execution, one of Kang's rivals being eliminated in cold blood. They realize that they are not just smugglers. They are becoming accomplices to a violent criminal network. Determined to break free, Dong-wook hatches a plan: steal Kang's most valuable ledger, which contains proof of his dealings, and use it as leverage to escape his grasp. But before they can act, Madam Kim reveals that she has been keeping a close watch on them and suspects they are not who they claim to be. As the crew attempts to make a desperate getaway, they are ambushed by Kang's men. A breathtaking car chase through the city ensues, with helicopters in pursuit and roadblocks at every turn. Using their unmatched driving skills, they manage to evade capture, but at a cost. Joon-gi is wounded, and their cover is now fully blown. Beaten but not broken, the crew regroups, knowing they have only one chance left: execute their plan to take down Kang from within. But with time running out and enemies on all sides, their greatest challenge is yet to come. Their mission becomes more complicated as Madam Kim, Kang's ruthless enforcer, grows increasingly suspicious of them. She puts them through a series of near-impossible tests to prove their loyalty. One of these involves smuggling a massive shipment of illegal cash through a police checkpoint. The team pulls off an elaborate scheme using hidden compartments in their cars, barely avoiding detection. But the message is clear. One wrong move, and they're finished. Escalating danger. The tension within the crew reaches its breaking point. Yoon-hee no longer trusts Prosecutor An, suspecting he is using them for his own political gains rather than truly bringing Kang to justice. Woo-sam uncovers more secrets hidden in their deliveries, coded messages that link Kang's syndicate to high-ranking government officials. Meanwhile, Dong-wook is forced to participate in an underground race hosted by Kang himself. The event is a display of power, where the most skilled drivers in Seoul race not just for money but for survival. During the race, Dong-wook realizes he's being tested. Madam Kim has rigged it so that only those truly loyal to Kang will survive. In a breathtaking chase, Dong-wook outmaneuvers an elite enforcer, cementing his status in the syndicate but putting a bigger target on his back. A betrayal unfolds. Just when they think they have a handle on their mission, the team is blindsided. They discover that Joon-gi, their loyal muscle, has been feeding information to another faction, one that wants to take Kang down for their own gain. This leads to a brutal confrontation between the crew, forcing them to question whether they can even trust each other. While dealing with their internal conflicts, they uncover Kang's most dangerous secret yet: a hidden vault containing evidence that could bring down not just Kang, but powerful figures in the South Korean government. This vault, however, is kept in an impenetrable location: Kang's personal estate, guarded by an army of mercenaries. The ultimate heist. The team devises a plan for their most dangerous mission yet: breaking into Kang's estate during a high-profile gala. This will be their final move, the one that determines whether they escape with their lives or are buried by the underworld they've infiltrated. The night of the gala arrives. The estate is heavily guarded, but the team executes a flawless infiltration. Yoon-hee and Woo-sam distract the security with an explosive diversion, while Dong-wook and Bok-nam sneak into the vault. As they break in, time is running out, and their cover is nearly blown when a familiar face steps into the room: Prosecutor An. The shocking revelation. Prosecutor An, the man who promised them justice, is revealed to be working with Kang all along. He was never trying to take down the crime syndicate. He was ensuring that the evidence never reached the authorities. Betrayed and outnumbered, the crew finds themselves in a deadly standoff. Guns are drawn, sirens wail in the distance, and chaos erupts as Kang's men realize the infiltration. The crew barely escapes, but not without loss. One of them is captured, and Kang now knows exactly who they are. The crew has hit rock bottom. Their cover is blown, one of their own is captured, and the enemy is closing in. But in their darkest moment, they realize something. The only way to win is to stop playing by the rules. A desperate rescue mission. Yoon-hee is missing, taken hostage by Chairman Kang's men. The crew scrambles for a plan, knowing they must act fast. Kang's influence runs deep, and soon, the entire city will be hunting them down. Dong-wook, filled with rage and determination, rallies the team for one final mission: storm Kang's private compound, rescue Yoon-hee, and expose the corruption at the heart of Seoul's elite. They know it's suicide, but they also know it's their only chance. Infiltrating the fortress, using their racing skills, they stage an elaborate diversion, a series of high-speed chases across the city, drawing Kang's security forces away from the compound. Meanwhile, Woo-sam hacks into Kang's surveillance system, shutting down cameras and creating blind spots for their infiltration. Disguised as members of Kang's inner circle, they sneak into the heavily fortified estate, where Yoon-hee is being held. What follows is a tense, action-packed sequence as they fight their way through corridors filled with armed guards. When they finally reach Yoon-hee, they find her bound and bruised, but still defiant. Before they can escape, Madam Kim appears, flanked by Kang's most elite fighters. A brutal showdown ensues, testing every ounce of the crew's strength and skill. Betrayal and redemption. Just when it seems all hope is lost, Joon-gi, the traitor in their midst, makes an unexpected move. Filled with guilt over his betrayal, he turns against Kang's men, giving the crew the opening they need to fight their way out. In the chaos, Dong-wook faces off against Madam Kim in an intense, high-speed battle through the estate's underground parking lot. Cars crash, bullets fly, and the climax reaches its breaking point as Dong-wook outmaneuvers her in a final, desperate maneuver that sends her vehicle careening into an explosion. The ultimate exposure. With the evidence in their possession, the crew races to the Olympic media headquarters, where they plan to broadcast Kang's crimes to the world. But Kang, furious and desperate, throws everything he has at them: mercenaries, police, and even bribed officials. What follows is the most adrenaline-fueled chase of the movie, as the crew weaves through Seoul's streets in a final, death-defying sprint toward justice. At the last moment, they break through the barricades, smashing into the media center. As the world watches, the evidence is released, exposing Kang and his network of corruption in a spectacular cinematic reveal. The aftermath, Kang is arrested. Prosecutor An, his secret ally, attempts to flee but is caught. Seoul erupts into chaos as the news spreads, and the power structure of the criminal underworld collapses overnight. The Sanggi Supreme Team, battered but victorious, stands amidst the wreckage. Their dream of escaping to America may still be far away, but for the first time, they have something even greater: freedom. As the sun rises over Seoul, Dong-wook looks at his crew and smirks. "One last ride?" he asks. With engines roaring, they speed off into the distance, leaving behind a legacy that will never be forgotten. The sun rises over Seoul, painting the city in golden hues. The streets that once echoed with the thunderous roars of their engines now stand silent, bearing witness to the legend of the Sanggae Supreme Team. The city may forget the faces, but it will never forget the ride. The adrenaline-fueled mission that shattered a criminal empire, exposed corruption, and turned a band of underground racers into unexpected heroes. Dong-wook stands beside his battered but still standing car, his gaze set on the horizon. The team, bruised but victorious, gathers around him, the weight of their journey settling in. They came together for survival, but now they are bonded by something far greater: a shared dream, a legacy written in speed, fire, and rebellion. Yoon-hee tightens her gloves, her bruised face determined. Woo-sam, still clutching the remnants of their hard-earned evidence, smirks as he adjusts his shades. Joon-gi, once torn between loyalty and deception, now stands as a man redeemed. Bok-nam revs the engine, his fingers itching to grip the wheel one last time. Then Dong-wook smirks. "One last ride?" Engines ignite, tires screech. The city watches as the team speeds off into the neon-lit streets, leaving behind a trail of smoke, defiance, and legend. They might have taken down one empire, but the road ahead is long, and their story is far from over. Because as long as the engine roars and the wheels turn, the ride never truly ends. And that, my friends, is the untold story of Seoul Vibe. A film that's more than just high-speed chases and action-packed thrills. It's a ride through history, corruption, and the rebellious spirit of those who refuse to back down. But now I want to hear from you. What was your favorite moment from Seoul Vibe? Did you catch any hidden details or themes that we didn't mention? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Story Break, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next breakdown. More epic stories are coming your way, so buckle up because this ride is far from over. Until next time, stay fast, stay fearless, and keep the engines roaring. See you in the next video. Car exhaust fire.